good evening, one and all, and welcome to another edition of Cop Talk. So this week we will be talking about the 3-2 thriller with Bournemouth, and of course the Domino's six love drubbing of Carry a Bag. Yes, we will definitely be talking about them. Okay, we're gonna say good evening, Dr. Blake, and how you doing, sir?
I'm well, man. Yesterday certainly made the week a little bit easier. Let's put it like that.
Stoney, my brother, nice to have you back.
Yeah, it just feels like I've been away for such a long period of time. But I know when we were back in the green room and we were getting all of our powder and makeup put on and sipping our champagne.
Speak for yourself,
last week,
bro.
last week's show was amazing. So anybody that's tuned in this week, don't forget you can like, share, subscribe, and also watch past shows as well. But yes, thanks, RE. It's just lovely to be back.
No problem. I see VW is getting his little makeup thing done now, so he'll be on shortly. Don't worry, man. Let's see him. Come on. Big shouts goes out. Gonna say hello to Mark Foster. Gonna say that big shout goes out to Desby as well. Big shouts goes out to all of you. Okay. So first and foremost, man, that disappointing, disjointed game against Bournemouth. Now, the first question I'm gonna ask is, was Slot right in not starting Ekatike? Because obviously, you're thinking to yourself, injuries, and you want to preserve him and whatever. Because if he gets popped down, we're in problems. We're in big problems. But do you think it's right? Because some people say, you know what, play the game that's in front of you first, because there's no guarantees. You rest in players, you're going to win the one or whatever. So, you think he was right, or was it the correct decision?
For me, yes. And I feel like the manager needs to be able to manage the squad as he feels appropriate, personally, in my opinion. And look, I'm not Cody Gakpo's biggest fan. I know like a lot of fans right now are kind of Cody isn't flavour of the month, or well, flavour of the season, to be fair. But I feel the role that he played suits his skill set. It's a similar role to what he played against when he came on against Marseille and he scored a goal and that. And I know fans are frustrated, but in that opening 25 minutes, if we capitalize on the chances that we created, then we could have easily been 2 goals up. So I think, yeah, like in terms of how we created chances, okay, like there weren't multiple, but I just, yeah, like the way to think about it is our 2 best moments, like in that first 20 odd minutes, fell to Mo Salah. If Hugo was playing, they still fall to Mo Salah and not to Hugo. The Van Dijk error, Hugo playing doesn't impact that.
Mm-hmm.
Us taking 7 minutes to get on a substitute centre back, Hugo playing doesn't change that either. So I do understand why fans are frustrated. If I just look at the game in isolation of what went wrong, I don't think Hugo changes anything.
Okay, Stoney.
Snap. I agree 100% with Doctor as well. I think the thing is we're slowly seeing, and I don't think it's right for me to actually use the word transition, right? So we're currently seeing Slot now using the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-2-2-2 formation. We saw him doing against Bournemouth. We saw him doing against Marseille. So I'm wondering if moving forward, that's the formation that he's going to look to see where he sets the team up in. I think Cody has shown that he's able to play. If we play in the 4-2-3-1, he can play on the left. And when we played the 4-2-2, he played up front on the left-hand side with Salah. So I think in terms of that, your original question was about Ekatike resting. I agree with Doctor. Yeah, I believe he should rest. More so, our current squad is quite thin there, to say the least.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably about minutes. I think the main thing that we have to think about is that we're not actually on a training ground, so we don't know what is happening with players. We don't know, what's influencing how much game time they get in. I know what you were saying, Marty, play the game that's in front of you, right? I was actually happy with the starting lineup against Bournemouth. I was happy with the formation. What Slot is unable to justify or find a rationale for is players making errors. And as much as Van Dijk actually ended up scoring, I'll say he didn't have the best game. And I think
You're putting it nicely.
maybe, and this is something so interesting. It said I watched last week's show 3 times, and the third time was actually at work with one of my colleagues who is heavily invested in Liverpool as well, right? The thing we were saying was, not only is the squad thin beer, Van Dijk has had no rest time. He's human, right? Doesn't matter how good he is, right? He probably needs a little rest, right? So against Bournemouth, he was rash. He was still, to me, this is just me, he was still trying to make too much of these Hollywood balls up to Mo. I don't think he needs to be constantly looking for that ball from centre-back right up to our forward positions. I think he needs a rest. I'm not questioning him as a leader. I'm not questioning his professionalism. But I wish we had more centre-backs so we can just have some chamomile, sit on a bench, reflect, observe how the team's playing. But there was a lot of things that didn't go the way that we wanted to in the Bournemouth game, but I don't think it was down to Slot. I think some of it was down to player performances. That's just my opinion on it, Hottie.
Okay, so VW, welcome on board, sir. We were just saying,
good afternoon.
we was asking the question, was Slot correct in resting Ekitike for the Bournemouth game? And my rationale was, normally they say win the game that's ahead of you first, right in front of you first, and then move on, worry about the next game. But obviously we know that, if he goes down, then we're in big trouble. So you think he was correct?
Yeah, I do. I think we should have enough to, although Bournemouth are a good football playing side, we should have enough to beat them. And I can understand why he would want to arrest Ekitike, but saying that, you would have liked to think that we had more than enough. If we played Ekitike in the league, we should have more than enough to have won the game yesterday without Ekitike playing as well. So, on reflection of what I've just said, maybe we should have started him because the league is really, to me, we need to get top 4. I think you can qualify. I think even if 5th place might get you in this year. I'm not 100% sure. But we need to get some form in the league. We really do, and he's our most informed player. So even by starting off saying that maybe we should have not started him, actually we should do. Because I think the league is much where we need to get. The league is what we need to really get some points and build some confidence in.
As Mark Foster alludes to, says Premier League is our bread and butter, and I think we should start, and we could rest Hugo in the Champions League game, which is true. About the level of competition that we had. He could have rested that game, really and truly. Look, we ran out and battered them 6-0, man. To be fair, so really and truly,
that's a fair point.
The league game was a lot more important, and a lot more that we really needed to win. When really and truly, he could have rested, and you could have started with Gakpo up top and Salah in that one, and we would have won that game. To be fair, and we was at Anfield as well. Come on, man.
And
even if you played him in the Bournemouth game for an hour, give him an hour.
But it goes back to RT. What I was saying as well. I think sometimes is, and I'm speaking about me, right? Sometimes I can make an assumption that we know the level of fitness that players are going through. Maybe he had a knock. Maybe he had a strain. Maybe he needed a day or 2 days recovery from. And we're just speaking about Hugo here, right? From the game that he's played. Maybe he needed an extra day recovery to make sure he was available to be able to contribute towards the team. And I think sometimes we think that players are like Messi, where they're going to play, or Ronaldo, we're going to play every single game. Sometimes we don't know how that's being managed by the player, by the manager, by the physios, and by the coaching staff as well. So yeah, I think we all agree Hugo is a star boy at the moment, and I'll be honest, there's not much forwards at the moment. This is just my opinion that I enjoy watching. Hugo's one of them. At some stage later in the show, I'll mention who the other forward is that I do like watching, but I like Hugo, and I think it's almost as if his skill set is working so well for us, regardless of what formation that we're playing in. We know that we want to gain points in the Champions League and also in the league, but it's almost as if we still have to kind of wrap him up in cotton wool a little bit, because if anything happens to Hugo at the moment, we know that Ikitike's had a long-term injury, right? And I know there's been discussions about the skill set of Gakpo. So if anything happens to Hugo at the moment, in terms of, getting the goals, I think we're in a little bit of trouble. That's how I feel anyway.
You'd be in big problems, mate.
Yeah, I know there's a comment there, but very quickly, I was thinking it just before we started the show, right? I was like, and I'll give away my age here, but in 42 years, right, of supporting this club, and we've had great highs, we've had mediocre times. This is the most peculiar team I think I've seen us or followed, because all the talent is there. The pedigree is there in terms of the players who've won stuff. But the performances and just so up and down. It's really, really weird. Can't put a finger on it. But it's not like, it's not like the early 90s with Nicky Tanner and all them sort of guys, if you remember those guys, Mike Marsh and all those guys. Do you know what I mean? It's not that. And it's like, Houdier, at least with Houdier's squad, you had consistent performances. The football might not have been great. And then with Benitez, it's consistent. But this at the moment, it's really, really strange. Even as bad as the Hodgson team was.
Oh my God!
At least it was consistently bad. It was consistently bad, didn't it?
Stop pulling up a mask and it's Hodgson underneath.
With Hodgson underneath, yeah. But that's what I just wanted to say.
Vinny, this is the key word, and I'm so glad you mentioned. Oh my God, it's like you could have been in my workplace. The key word here for me is transition. All right.
Yes.
So primarily last season, Slot would have had the basis of what would have been the majority of Jurgen Klopp's squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now this season, it's almost as if last season should have been the transition season. And then, we won the league. This season is now the transition. So like what you said, it's almost as if we can't put a word on it, right? We're now witnessing and visualizing what could be what Slot wants to implement with our current squad. Perfect, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing injuries. We're seeing a depleted squad. We're seeing some players not being able to play at the level we would hope our players to be able to play at. And this is me personally. This Premier League has been dunce, There's not many teams that I'm looking at that you're playing football and you're kind of sitting there and you're enjoying. This is just my opinion. I have not enjoyed watching Liverpool play, but for somehow we're getting performances or we're getting results. So we were getting results, not performances, right? So yeah, your original thing was saying like you can't put this is transition, new manager, new technical staff. I mean, we got my guy from Mahoney from Southampton, new data analysis guy who's meant to be looking at set pieces. For me, I wish I was on last week's show. How can we get a set piece coach from Southampton who got relegated last season and conceded the highest amount of goals? And that's our data analysis guy that we've got there. We'll get to that another time, right? But you're right, Vinny. This is a transition. What should have happened last season, and we're seeing it this season. So for me, wherever we finish this season, we just have to be blessed. That's how I think of it. It's peculiar, and as you said, you just literally cannot put your thumb or your nail or whatever you want to call it on it. It's just bizarre.
And also as well, don't get me wrong, I understand why fans want to see Hugo playing, right? But I just feel between the players, between Slot and the sporting directors, like the whole club needs to be held to account at the moment. And I think it's too easy for people just to blame Slot, because the strike pairing that we played against Bournemouth, and I know they were playing as wide strikers and sometimes inverted, sometimes holding the width, but they want to combine £650,000 a week. Like something has gone seriously wrong. That was meant to be on 250 after that new contract, and Mo's on 400 grand. That's a 650 grand a week strike force. So surely, if I'm the manager, I have to expect a 650 strike force to be able to do something, innit? And this is why I say, don't get me wrong, Slot should be under pressure, but these players, the recruitment, who's giving out the contracts, because my boy Diaz was on 50 grand a week. He had to fight, steal, and beg to get 200, and they said, no, it's too much money. They gave that prick Cody Gakpo 250, and look what he's doing. So someone somewhere needs to explain to me how that £650,000 a week strike force is playing like that. Like, something's gone wrong, innit? You can't blame Slot if these guys are playing like absolute donuts, because Hugo ain't playing like a donut. Verts ain't playing like a donut. Kirkes, Frimpong, like the actual new players have actually settled in, but something's going wrong. And whoever's giving out these contracts, whoever's choosing to keep certain man, I'm sorry, innit? It's just not good enough, because 650 a week. Come on.
Yeah, well, we all know about Gakpo, mate, but I think with that as well, Mo is on the decline now as well. So I can't be expecting, I'm not expecting 400 grand a week performances out of him all the time no more. I've come to admit it now. Like, he's past his best now.
So, but then,
to be fair,
so this is the point, right? These guys need to be held to account. All these data analysis who are paid the money to project performances, player, I guess just players and trajectory, physical capacities, etc. Because you've got a guy in Mo who's been an absolute legend, but you've got a guy who's on 400 grand a week, doesn't have the physical capacity for the defensive side of the game. His actual form's poor, and if you drop him, it's World War III.
Yep.
Like.
Okay, so what's your right, Doctor? Right, and I'm so glad you mentioned this. Right, I remember, I think it was during lockdown, we had a series of shows, and we were speaking about like what we would have deemed to be like the legends of Liverpool. So who would have been the best goalkeeper, the best left back, right back, really, right? So one of the things like what you've mentioned, and we were speaking, and we're only giving an example about Mo. Mo's no longer in his prime, right? So we are now looking at, in my eyes, a legend who's on the decline, and at some period of time he's going to move on, right? Whatever happens, he's still going to go down in history as Liverpool. I remember when we did the series of show about legends, we were speaking about the goalkeeper XYZ. We're always looking at the players in their prime, not when they went to the decline. So I'm giving an example. I think John Barnes ended up featuring in the legend squad, the all-time best. We were looking at John Barnes when he was on the wing, ripping up for Liverpool. We weren't looking at the last year or two when he was playing in central midfield, you know, when he was done out here. Yeah. So I think this is a situation with Mo is, and I agree with you 100%. His best years are behind him, and I believe that it's going to be a transition. Was it a 2-year contract that you got?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
But he needs to go. He needs to go.
Yeah, but you see, even with that, Doctor, right? And 100%, there probably will be a period of time where he has to move on, whether it's at the end of the season, XYZ. I think he's always going to be a legend. And these things happen in football where whatever players we revere, they decline and then they move on. And, you know, we can think of it. Robbie Fowler, Alan Hansen, you know what I mean? All of these players that we know have been legends. We are now witnessing in our time, in real time, what's happening to Mo. And that's not a disservice for him. I just hope, going back to exactly what you said, I just hope that our scouts, our data analysis, all of these people have a replacement on that side who can replicate some of the form that Mo has provided for us. But
You know what it is? See, Mo being in decline, I accept. Like, I didn't see it coming this quickly, but it is what it is. Like, Mo can't help but being on, but yeah, like Mo can't help it. We know Mo's like the one player that will do all he can to retain his physical prowess. Like, we know that. My issue is it's the stink you kick up when you don't get played. So you're in decline, you're not playing well with the ball. Off the ball, you're a myth. And if the manager rotates you, it's World War III. That's the part that sends my head gone. Like, and this is why I say there's a bit of poison at the club at the moment. And people might say, yeah, but Arne Slot can't manage big players. And I say the same thing again. We saw Jurgen Klopp, our titan, our generational manager, the new generation of, or the comparable guy to the modern Bill Shankly. We saw Mo tried to force him up on the touchline against West Ham. So sometimes you've got to hold these players to account, and you can't have a player with that amount of kudos, influence, who's just badding up the club. That's what he's literally doing. He's badding up the club. He sent for Slot, he sent for Hughes or Edwards, he sent for Bearman. I just think, what are we doing here as a club?
Should we have done a Sterling? Should we have done like what Chelsea done? Like Chelsea was saying, regardless of your wage, if you're not in the conversation, then you just go and do an academy with your children, and you don't train with the first team or the academy. It's unfortunate.
See, I wouldn't have done.
Yeah, and you know what? You know something else as well. Sorry, Doctor. Said about what we said about he's not managed big players. Well, let's at Liverpool, even at Dortmund, Klopp didn't manage big players. He made big players.
Yeah, there you go.
He made big players. And I think that, because that's not his ethos. That's not his way of working. It wasn't in bringing a huge star and then having that in the team. He was bringing people who were obviously on the verge, like your VVDs, your Manes, and then he took them to that level. So, yeah, this whole big player, coaching big players and so forth, we've got now to handle them. I get it, but I think if you're a big player and you're a professional, you've got to conduct yourself a certain way, innit? That's 100. How I see it.
100 agree. Yeah, and I think, as I said, maybe I'm defending Slot a bit too much, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is you would expect, if you're a manager and you're going to play a strike force that are on 650 a week, to expect better from your players. And that'd be independent of your management. If they like you, if they don't like you, if they don't like the tactics, you would expect a higher level of performance from players who are on that type of wage. And if the club are giving out contracts and are paying guys who are on that type of wage and they ain't able to do it, then someone in a sporting director capacity needs to look at that. Because you can't have a man.
I'm going to throw a little grenade on that, right? And I was thinking about what you just said, and it's not. This is not directly at you, but I'm just thinking about the thought process while you were speaking. Okay, so when we were thinking about formation changes with Slot, we were mentioning that primarily he was playing the 4-2-3-1, and he's currently playing or looking at in certain games of playing the 4-2-2-2, right? So even as an example, with Mo coming back from AFCON and him now playing in this new formation that Slot's got. So he's moved over from the right-hand side and he's now playing the right-hand side of the forward position, right? Mo, even though his performance probably what we probably would have liked against Bournemouth, he's still creating an assist as playing as the right-sided forward in that 4-2-2-2-2. formation. Do you think that we can probably see Mo being able to reinvent himself, playing now as another forward, like a striker, as opposed to what was that position where he plays? Is it a forward?
Yeah, like he's
or
like
is
an
it a winger?
inside
You know what I
right,
mean,
right?
right?
Forward kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's now playing as the forward, the right-sided forward.
Yeah.
And I think he was fairly effective against Bournemouth. It's just that in my opinion, we almost switched off. And that's when Bournemouth obviously ended up getting the winning goal. But sorry, my original question was, could you possibly see Mo being effective as being a right-sided striker now?
100. I think that's probably the best place for him because he can't beat his fullback. So if you're playing him on the wing, and I also feel if you're packing out the midfield with that box midfield, then it's easier to combat Mo's lack of defensive work if he's playing in that kind of right-sided striker role as well. But I just think tactically it kind of worked because we created opportunities for him to do something. He just didn't do anything. And that assist.
So, Des B says, going back to what Stoney was saying earlier about we don't know what goes on behind the scenes or what the science told him. We just have to trust the manager. So, yes, he was right, basically, to talk about to rest Ekatike. Mark says that we could have started Rio up front against Karabag and we would still have won.
That's a bit harsh, man.
And he goes on, because Slot keeps changing the tactics every game, this is why we up and down.
And I'm going to just keep that there, RT. Keep Mark Foster's thing up. I think one of the things that we one of the things I have mentioned is if we're looking at a manager not actually necessarily being rigid, right? So we started off the season and we managed to get some results and then we went for a torrid period of time. And then we went through this latter period where we were drawing games. For me, that's then showing that we've got a manager that's then having to adapt the formation or the skill set of the squad that he's got, and he's not actually being rigid, right? So as much as you saying we're going up and down, this is a manager saying, well, maybe the 4-2-3 one's not working, and then we need to look at another formation. Maybe this is also the manager being able to pipe down and not constantly saying that we are finding it hard to play against the low block or we're finding it hard to play against teams that are using the high throws. For me, sometimes...
Or we find it hard to play against when it's windy.
Thank you. So
for me, the sun's in our eyes.
Sometimes you shouldn't give the media
on the pitch.
Yeah, you know what I mean, RT. Sometimes as a manager, I think where he's probably failed is he's probably been too honest. Guess what? Keep quiet, zip it up.
Yeah.
Don't be talking what we find hard. Exactly what you said. If we find it hard at playing at 15 centimeters of grass, brother, don't tell people your business. Keep it quiet. Everything he said, which we've found difficult, teams have now then applied, and that's why we're not getting the results. So just zip it up, Slot, man.
That's the Dutch in him, innit? Always got to have the final word, or always speak and respond. And I asked the question in a couple of groups earlier, I think, today. All the managers I know, Dutch managers in this league, they've all had problems with players. They've all had difficult times. And they've all ended up leaving, not on necessarily good terms. The only exception I know who didn't have really issues with players was, I think, Martin Jol. But every Dutch manager in this league has had some sort of problem.
Donovi, that's a very good point, And even when you looking at
Van Gaal,
Koeman, Ten Hag,
but then even the Dutch ahead of the Dutch ahead of their international tournaments have always had issues with like a star player, not the manager falling out. So you're right, because I'm sure Cruyff didn't go to one of the World Cups or something like that. Am I making that up? I'm sure it was Cruyff.
No, he didn't. He didn't go to the '78 World Cup.
Cruyff didn't go to a World Cup. Hullet didn't go to a major tournament once as well. There was Euro 96 issues when was it Davids left or something like that, and they lost losing the 4-1. So Dutch football has had an issue with egos between players and management. 100, yeah.
That's a question from SB. He says, "Is this Slot's team or the LFC Football Committee's team? And does Slot have the final say on players, or could he be outvoted?"
Okay, so what you're right, Desby. I think that is a really, really, really good question. And for me, one of the things that this is just me, right? And we've mentioned it sometimes. A player is not bigger than the club, and a manager is not bigger than the club. And the only reason why I say this is, right, let's look at hypothetically. Suppose Slot's next 3 games are unsavory, and then he's moved on, right? Are we, as a club, are we buying? And we know that we need defenders, as in plural, right? Are we buying defenders for for Slot? Are we buying them for the club? In my personal opinion, the committee should also have some form of communication with the manager, because if a manager's deciding what centre backs they want, and then the manager's got sacked, what then happens to that centre back? I'm thinking like, remember we bought Robbie Keane, and we bought Robbie Keane, and he was there for 6 months. Was it Benitez?
Yeah, Benitez didn't want him.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so
Benitez didn't want him. Yeah,
brilliant. So I'm thinking in my head, we would have purchased Robbie Keane, and that been a club decision, not a manager's decision. And then within 6 months, that player was farmed out and went elsewhere. So for me, if a player's purchased to the club, it should be a collective manager and a club decision, but more the club. Because if that manager goes, then that player's still there. I don't want a manager saying he wants a player, and then a manager then moves on, and that player's there as, collecting wages or, withdrawing our flipping bank balance and not doing anything collective. So yeah, I think it needs to be a club decision and not a manager's decision.
Yeah.
Personally.
You'd like to think so.
I'll make you right on that, but at the same time, sorry, Artie, you go ahead. I think there's another question there. Go ahead, sorry, sir.
So, Mark Foster's saying Hughes got to take some blame as well, to be fair. You can't sell Diaz and not replace him. And then with a 17-year-old kid, as much as I love Rio, but we needed another player.
Yeah, I'll answer that. And I think I know Doctor's got shares in Diaz. I've seen Doctor's bank balance somehow. Someone sent it to me, and Doctor's just nice like Jay-Z at the moment. But I'm just saying, with this, I wonder, and I don't have the answer. I wonder if us bringing in Chiesa to our club, he's been able to show he can play in a variation of positions. So I'm not saying that he's got the skill set of Diaz. Diaz is almost like a throwback. And as much as he's no longer with us at Liverpool, I wonder if it wasn't necessarily about the contract, but more so to do with lifestyle. We know what was documented, what would happen with his dad, and maybe he may have just wanted a different environment and what have you, right? But you're right, being able to Diaz moving on. I wonder if the club then thought Diaz moves on to Cody can replace him. I wonder.
Of course they thought that.
Yeah. So and this is just me. I'm wondering if they thought when Cody can replace him, we've got Kaiser. Kaiser can play in a series of positions. So if one player moves on and we're able to generate some money, then we've got 2 or 3 players with Rio that can possibly replace him. That's a question mark from me, by the way. I don't have the answer on that.
So what I'd say to that, right, is everyone needs to be held to account. As I said, players, Slot, and the recruitment staff. Because let's everyone be clear, Slot is the head coach. FSG, when Klopp went, first thing they did, they brought back Edwards. He appointed Hughes. Very, very clear. Liverpool now going to have a head coach. So squad composition is down to the sporting directors. If that's Hughes and Edwards. So my point with Diaz, and this is where I'm concerned. Yeah. Forget keeping Diaz or selling Diaz or whatever it is. If your job is to analyze football and you cannot see the importance that Luis Diaz gave to the team, and you then think you can replace him with Cody Gakpo, who doesn't work as hard, doesn't press as hard, and a 17-year-old kid, and you're not going to see this team be impacted because you haven't replaced my man, you're not analyzing football properly. Because if you think Rio and Cody can replace the off-the-ball movement that Diaz had, the tenacity, the pressing, then look at the season. We've sold these guys and we've replaced them with new forwards who cannot press. Xavi Alonso wants to play a high-pressing system. Luis Enrique, a high-pressing system. Arne Slot, a high-pressing system. But yet we've signed forwards who can't press. We were playing games against, was it Man U, and we had Isak who could barely run. Mo doesn't run. Matt 10 who can't run. So I'm just saying, like, do you value physical attributes? Because the players who we've signed are not good off the ball. They're not good defensively. Like, Hugo's not bad, but he's not Jota RIP. He's not Nunez. He's not Diaz. So all of the players that we brought into the front four, they're all inferior defensively to the players that they replaced. That's why we're so open this season, because we can't defend from the front. At no point has our press looked coordinated, because these players are inferior pressers. So if your job is to analyze football, you're meant to analyze these things. Like, we're fans. Like, Mo Salah can't work any harder. Cody can't work any harder. Verts can't work any harder. Isak breaks down if he works too hard. So these are the things that you're meant to be able to predict. Like, and this one was just like, these guys haven't done their job properly.
100. So Mark says that Slot is not a manager. He is a coach. He has very little say in the players coming in. And I think Slot will talk to Hughes, but the club will have the last say.
And you're correct. And Mark can be correct in saying that. And that's what I was saying before is, and I'm not, it's important that I say, you know, I'm not speaking for everyone, I'm speaking for me. That could been a part of Slot's contract. We don't know. I think gone are the days when you can have somebody like, you know, Bill Shankly, who ruled everything, or Sir Alex or Arsene Wenger. Football roles and everything's completely changed. So we don't know what, even though Slot's title may be as a manager, correctly, like Mark was saying, he's got people above him, and those people above him may have a bigger say in what he's actually doing. Sometimes rightly so, because he said we've seen how quick managers change, and you're going to give that much. I'm trying to look for the word. You're going to give that much responsibility for a manager, and I'm saying, even if we think of that period of time we were losing a lot of games, right? If Liverpool had decided to buy a player that Slot wanted, and they decided to move him on, then the next manager comes in and they don't want the defender, then that's a madness, isn't it? So Slot probably knows his role. It's hard.
Yeah.
And we just don't know those conversations.
And it's funny to me, right, that when you look at the fact that the clubs over the last 10 years or so who have been the most successful have had managers who have a lot of say in what happens. Klopp, Pep, even, you know, I hate to say Arteta, he's had a lot of say in what he wanted to do with that squad, and now he's reaping the fruits. Even Umar Emery at Villa, I think he most probably has a lot of say in what goes on there. So it's finding the right balance, isn't it? And I think we're that's what we're trying to do. But I think, again, what you said earlier, Stoney, should not be underestimated at all. And it's easy underestimate it because of the season we had. But there was a lot of squad changes, a huge amount of squad changes this season. There's been an absolute tragedy this season as well. So you're dealing with a transition and you're dealing with a tragedy. And now you're getting to know, as players, you're now getting to know what your coach is really like. And finally, you've got the main core, the main core, or what remains of the main core of the team, which brought us to these heights, are all 30 plus now. They're all on the other side. So you're building again. And I think we can forget that. Or our mind becomes blinded to it. Robertson's 30 plus. Alisson's 30 plus. Van Dijk's 30 plus.
Mo.
Salah's 30 plus. Do you know what I mean?
It's a declining squad, man. Declining squad. So going back to where they're about not replacing Diaz, he said, Mark says, I think we did not replace Diaz because I think the plan was to play Hugo left wing and Isak as the 9.
That could have worked, but I go back to the point is like, if you're, and I think, you see with Klopp here, and this is where I'm just baffled by it. Remember, it was Klopp that wanted Julian Brandt, right? And it was the technical director that said Mo Salah. He's more suited to your style of play. And I'm just going back to the same point. If we are a high pressing side, why have we signed all of the forwards that we've signed? Make our team a worse pressing team. So if you're going to try and play a high pressing team, and the plan was to have Mo Salah right wing, doesn't press, Isak through the middle, minimal presser, Hugo left wing, okay presser, and then Wirtz, like that team gets eaten up defensively. It gets eaten up. And this is what I'm saying. What was the plan A? Start of the season, if everyone was fit, it would have been Frimpong, Kirkez, Salah, Gakpo, and then Wirtz behind Isak. Defensively, that team is all over the shop with then Matt 10 and Gravenberch in midfield. We would have got destroyed. That was plan A. Who's running? Who's tackling? Who's covering? Who's pressing? You've got fullbacks that want to just run forward all the time. Who's passing the ball out from the back? Everything that the team wants to do. Ball progression from deep. Pressing from the front. These players can't do that. They can't do that.
Good points, mate. Make some good points. I'm telling you. So, Des is saying, Diaz was used to balance the books as we were spending mega bucks. I'm tired of banging on about Diaz sell, but that was a bad decision. Let's see what Mark wants to ask us now. I'd like to ask the panel, if we had Pep as manager and still had these injuries, would be in the same place in the league? And 2, would we see players in January under Pep, as Pep would probably bug Hughes?
Yeah, but
would we still be in the same place in the league? And would we get players in January if we had Pep?
Mark, just to answer your question, Pep, in certain conversations, he's redefined football. We can see different tactical approaches, not just even in a Premiership. We can see it at grassroots level. Pep's also a checkbook manager as well, if you can be buying certain defenders for like 45, 50 mil, and you're not even playing, man. He bought Grealish for 100 mil and played Grealish when he wanted to. So Liverpool don't have that type money. Yeah, I would prefer if we've got £100 million that Man City had, we'd fix up the stadium, we'd fix up the infrastructure around Anfield. Yeah, Pep's. Yeah, no. I just think that conversation is this a mad.
Oh no, Pep gets mad money.
He gets mad money. He does.
But I do think though, after the summer that we've had and the splurge that we've had, although we have to see it in context because obviously like our net spend isn't that mad, but I just think as a club we can't use the money excuse anymore. because we have done madness this season that has made. I keep saying it. Our strike force that everyone was unhappy about on the weekend is on 650 grand a week.
It's hard though, Doctor, because
that's madness.
It is madness.
It is
but
madness.
the only thing I can
they're
say,
not worth it.
I know,
And
but
this
the
is
only
my
thing I can
point.
say is
They're not worth it.
The only thing I
We're
can
not
say
even close to it.
It's
The
like
only thing I can say
it's like having Nunes. He cost 85 million, but he's not an 85 million pound player.
But what I'm saying is, between the panel and between everybody who's currently viewed in, right? We know that we're either self-employed, you know, we run our own businesses, or we are employed by, you know, a company, and we work for a company, right? So I'm saying from my own experience, I know I've worked with people who may be senior managers, who may be on racks and are dunce out here. So even though they're on a lot of money, it doesn't mean that they can actually perform. So for me, I'm moving money aside. Only because somebody's on 300 whatever racks a week, primarily they're meant to perform, but it doesn't mean they can. It just means that either them and their managerial team have been able to create a nice contract for them. So I'm just removing myself from that, man.
Yes. So I think I'm not simply because of the question marks around the club. If I was confident that all of our issues were just down to Slot and no one else, it's not an issue. But I guess I'm looking at it like, who is signing these players? What is your recruitment policy? What profiles are you looking at? Under Klopp, everyone that we signed could press. Everyone. Because that was the team's identity. And yes, you could play ball as well. Written for Ox because he was dynamic, he could press. Naby, dynamic, he could press, not as much as Ox. Mane, Mo, Bobby, everyone fit with the identity. We've done a madness this season. We've done some Real Madrid, Man U window where we've signed all of these individual great players, but it doesn't gel. So I can't blame Slot if he's been given a bunch of individuals that don't gel properly. Because I don't see how this team gels together. Like, start of the season, Kirkes, yeah? We were all talking about how Kirkes was struggling and how we were using him as that like left-sided centre-back. He's not suited to that, this, that, and the other. All valid points. The point then comes to the point where, why did they sign Kirkes? There's probably 10 other left-backs that are more suited to what Klopp wanted to do, to what Slot wanted to do with him than Kirkes. So why did we sign Kirkes?
You know, Doctor, wicked. You know what? You just planted a seed in my head, you know. And then you know what that seed is? What is our expectation of our identity under Slot? What are we expecting? Is it are we expecting Slot with this group of players to play like Klopp, or are we waiting to find out what the identity under Slot is with our players?
I have no idea, and that's the point, because we don't know who's signing the players. It's not clear. But what is clear is Arne Slot, since he's been a manager, has always had one fullback that is a ball player. Either that player stays in the back three and makes three at the back, or goes into midfield and adds extra midfielders, like an inverted fullback. He's always had it. Tried to use Kirkes as one this season. Kirkes clearly doesn't have the skill set for that. Was Slot wrong for using him like that? I don't know. The question I just keep on saying is, why did we sign the guy if he doesn't suit the manager's tactics?
No, good, very good. But that's what we have to get to the bottom of. Who is making these signings?
And this is my point.
And is there something in it for these guys? Like, you know, like the agents where they get a percentage or something. That's the only rationale I can think. Because why would you be spending these big money on these players? There's got to be something in it.
And you know what? As I said, I like all of our players individually. I rate them, but I'm just like,
so we signed Kirkes because of Richard Hughes' contract with Bournemouth.
But you
I
know
like
what's quite
Kirkers.
interesting in Debs? This is just a yeah. You know what's interesting, Debs, and if you can, just comment on this as well. Once again, thank you for continuing to tune into our channel. The question was, why did we sign Kirkes? Was it because of Hughes' connection with Bournemouth? In my opinion, Kirkes' performances at Bournemouth, in my eyes, appeared to warrant him being signed for Liverpool. But similar to what Doctor was saying, the way that he played at Bournemouth is not the way that he's currently playing at Liverpool. So what's happened here? I think he played all right at Bournemouth.
It's good. Listen, Kirkes is a wicked fullback. He's a wicked fullback if he's allowed to be an up and down player. That's what he excels at. Up and down, crosses into the box. He's not somebody you want behind the ball. That's why I just say, like, what was the plan?
Do you think Isak was a slot buy?
I think it was a vanity buy.
I have no idea.
That's what I think it was.
I really, and this is before his injury, definitely before his injury. I think we had, as a club, we had earmarked him being purchased to Liverpool, and even at latter stages where there was clear discussions with Newcastle, and they made it very clear we do not want Isak to leave. If he leaves on our terms, and rightly so. I still believe Newcastle did the right thing. You guess what? If he's going to leave on the last day. That means he's going to train by himself. He's not going to be fit, XYZ, right? But I still believe it was a vanity buy by us. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I never ever want any player to get injured, and I hope his recovery is smooth. I hope he has the right team around him to make sure that he's in a good position. But I still believe that was a vanity buy from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Time is rolling, gentlemen. So let's move on to yesterday. Champions League. Got the win that we needed. Got the 3 points. Ended up finishing, fourth in the league? Was it third or fourth? Fourth in that league?
Third.
Okay.
Tottenham came in behind us, innit? Just behind by me,
18 points.
Yeah.
Arsenal and Bayern above us.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So, can Liverpool go on and win the Champions League this season?
Why not? This is football, and I always say there's so many variables, right? So if we think of it, PSG, Real Madrid didn't qualify automatically. They didn't finish in the top 8, whereas last season they had an amazing performance to actually be up there, whereas Arsenal didn't. This is football. I think it has so many variables. If we are basing, look, I think we'll be honest with ourselves, right? Collectively, Liverpool has not performed at the level we would have liked to have, and we've already discussed that. But yet, we're still in a reasonable position in the league. Are we going to win it? No, we're not going to win the league. But we're still in the conversation in the Champions League. You know, we got Tottenham on the 27th. Come on, man. We already threw that round there, and I already know Dompy and Pipe 71, you're already tuned into the show. I'm going to be with you on the 27th, and we're already moving you guys up on there. So RT, the conversation is yes, we can.
I say no.
Because
I don't think that we've got the squad depth to carry us through to win that and try and maintain top 4, top 5 position in the league. The fact that Frimpong's now injured and out, he's basically out for the season.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, basically out for the season.
A stage 3 tier, which is the worst you can get.
Yeah. Hello, Calvin Ramsey, innit?
What, you'd like to think so? The
man's words are coming back to haunt him, man. I'm telling you, right? But he ain't gonna play Calvin Ramsey, and this is the point now. He'll find someone else to play in that position, And yeah, I just don't think. Yeah, I just think it's going to get it's going to get too awkward. There are too many good teams with enough depth.
Okay.
I think we can go quite far, but I don't think we'll win it.
Okay.
In all honesty.
Yeah, the squad depth thing is an issue. He needs to work out what he's going to do at right back, and obviously, hopefully, Gomez isn't out for too long because that's just like a knock, right? Was it a knock, or did he actually, or do we know if he's actually injured following that altercation with Allison? So yeah, I think fitness dependent. I think we can.
Okay.
And I think we can for a couple of reasons. The first is I don't think there's a great European side this season. PSG seem to not be quite at it. Barca have got obviously financial issues, so they can't recruit as they want to. But I just think our side's suited for Europe. I think a lot of the issues that I think we've seen in terms of the lack of intensity, difficulty defending transition, set pieces, these things aren't major problems in Europe. So I just think our players are suited to play in a slightly slower tactical style of football. And for all of, I might cuss our players and get a bit annoyed at times. Technically, in terms of keeping the ball, like we're very good. We've got a high technical ceiling in our team. A really high, floor, sorry. Think about Jones, Mac, Grav, like Dom. That is a quartet playing in your midfield. Like we've got real technicians in our team. So yeah, I think if we have a bit of luck with injuries, then I think we can win it, man. Personally.
Okay. I'm more into.
What about you? What do you think, Lee?
And say, do you know what? It's going to be a big ask for us to go on and win it and still maintain in the league as well. It's going to be a massive ask, especially if we've got a couple of days left, and especially like if there's no reinforcements coming in, it's going to be a major task for us, man. Major.
When's our next game?
And we're still in the FA Cup.
We got Spurs, innit?
No,
Newcastle. Sorry,
Newcastle. We got Newcastle.
Sorry. When's our next game in the Champions League? Is it February?
February.
Yeah, February the 27th.
Okay.
And that's against Spurs.
So we can focus on the league.
Against Spurs.
Yeah, we got Spurs next on the 27th.
It's weird the way
us and Spurs.
Yeah.
Third and fourth, we'll play something like 11th and 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not playing Spurs.
Okay.
So we're playing.
Third and fourth is something like 11th and 12th. We're playing.
So we've got either Atletico, Bruges, Juve, or
Galatasaray.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
Not straightforward, but they're
all beatable.
I fancy us, man. I just feel.
Out of that lot, I prefer to avoid Atletico. Out of that lot.
Absolutely.
Atletico, I don't know, they ain't really doing much at the moment, Atletico. And I think, I don't know. Do you know what?
I'm okay with them, and I'll tell you why. I feel like, you see, under Jurgen Klopp, I feel the Atleticos were a real Achilles heel because of just how they wanted to play. Whereas this team can play slow and keep it and play tactically with the ball. Think about their performance against Inter Milan. If that's what Atletico want to do and try and just close the door and be difficult to beat, I think we can match that. I don't think that bothers us. Like it would say a Jurgen Klopp team. And I just think we've got players that are intricate in it. I can see Verts doing a madness, Hugo doing a madness. Yeah, I'm not too. Yeah, we'll be all right, man.
So
Come on, Desby.
Doing terrible in the league, but going to win the Champs League.
I take it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
If we do win the Champs League, slot ain't going nowhere, mate. I tell you that.
You got a good point there. You got to make a good point.
You're not going nowhere, mate.
Mark says, I will keep saying to champions that to update the squad every window if you want to stay in the top in Europe or the Prem. Yeah.
Depends what's out there, innit?
Yeah. Obviously, it depends what's out there. So yesterday, can't really say what did you think of the foot. We're expected to beat teams like that, especially at home. But what I would say is, what did you think of Naoni?
Baller. I think a definite criticism of Slot, he could have been using some of these squad guys a lot more.
Yep.
I think he's a very accomplished player. He plays like a seasoned vet. I think those kind of men who are so tactically good, I think you just got to play them.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I saw a post about him as well. And they're talking the same thing about why is he not being used enough. And hopefully we don't do him like we've done some others and end up letting him go. But they really think that he should be playing a lot more.
Good player. Very good player. How old is he? 18?
Yeah, about 18.
But what's the flip side? And I'm going to be provocative on this, right? So, as I was mentioning before, at the beginning of the season, we managed to get, a series of results, right? And then we went through this long period we were getting draws. So imagine if Slot is expected to get wins, rightly so for our big historical club. But then if he's now playing Ione and we're now getting losses instead of the draws, what then impact does it have on Ione, and primarily what impact does it have on Slot? Because at the end of the day,
he might have been getting wins.
Yeah, it's true. And
you can't say that. You might have been getting wins.
This is the beautiful thing about it. It's all summative, right? So maybe for Slot, he's saying once we're getting a series of wins, that's probably then a better time to introduce Naoni, as opposed to when we're trying to, we're going through this series and more so what I was mentioning before, RT, we're making a transition between the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-2-2-2. If we're going to 4-2-2-2, who is then Naomi replacing playing in centre midfield? Is it Grav? Is it Mac 10?
Probably Mac 10.
It's interesting.
Not saying to start, but he could come on a lot more.
Okay.
Because I guarantee you now, after playing in that game there, he's going to be sitting on the bench for how long and not see the pitch for ages.
Oh. And against Bournemouth,
no good for no one.
And against Bournemouth, one of their late counter attacks, they end up missing. How I don't know. Seeing the way our team were trying to run back, and I'm like, hold on, you man are sprinting forward and you're jogging back. I think they said the Bournemouth player that ended up releasing the pass for the guy, I think he ran 75 yards without a Liverpool player trying to tackle him. So I'm saying, if you man are tired and can't run, this is where these youths need to be playing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Slot's management of the squad needs to improve.
Definitely. Yeah, man. I feel say these youngsters should be getting a bit more of a run, especially someone like that. That pass when he took the ball, control, bam, and then played it out to Salah, and then Salah played it to Virgil, and then Virgil squared it for Thing to score. The way that he saw that and played that's like a seasoned player.
Come on, bro.
Seasoned baller.
I noticed as well, Artie, which I think you made a great point. You see, when you're a young player and you're coming on, and you've got the composure and the technical ability just to play two-touch ball, come on, like you can't buy that.
This is what I'm saying.
You can't buy that.
We don't do that enough.
Yeah.
So
we don't do that enough.
I can almost be provocative then, right? In saying, so I know Naoni didn't come on against Bournemouth, you were mentioning, right? But Naoni came on against Karabakh, so he come on in the Champions League. Rio came on, and the centre back that we were speaking about, even though we know we are squad thin, Nalo came on as well. So 3 of our youngsters actually came on against Karabakh. So they all got Champions League experience there. So maybe they may not have been ready for Bournemouth, but they came out against in a Champions League game, and that's what I was saying, we were in an advantage, in a positive experience, and then they also got Champions League experience. So I'm just going to flip it and say, I still believe that Slot did the right thing. It's a win-win.
So I can see your point, and maybe Slot doesn't want to play these guys when the team's struggling. I can understand that, but I just think if you've got guys who can do something that the first team aren't able to do at the moment, like track runners, then he's got to play.
You got legs.
Yeah. These men are running through us.
Thank you. Legs for days.
I'm like, I was watching, I was thinking, will someone tackle him? Grab was jogging, and did a half sprint. I couldn't see Curtis. I was like, Mose. I was like, what's going on?
Take a yellow or do something, man, for Pete's sakes. Yeah. Sorry, but my point is this. What you could do is give these guys 15, 20 minutes. Not saying they don't have to start. Bring them on, give them a 15, 20 minutes. Let them bring some energy to the game. And like Doctor's saying, some legs to the game. And this is my thing is this now. All right, so they played in this game now. When are you going to see them next?
And I just think with
you're saying right then, it's tough playing against. You didn't bring them. You're not ready for the Prem, playing the tough teams like Bournemouth and that. All right, it's only Karabakh. All right, so there's no more Karabakhs now, so they ain't going to get no more Champions League games. Is that what you're saying? And then we got Newcastle now, so they're not going to get no game time there. Come on, man. These guys, this is how these guys get better, by playing in these games.
Yeah, but you know what? When your form is so bad like ours is, Slotsman's probably on this thing that I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't.
Thank you.
I'd rather not than do, because I'll get slated even more. That's the thing. He's on a hiding to nothing.
Vinny's had a valid point, and I'm going to be honest, right? We know off the show, right? We've all been invited to new WhatsApp groups to do Liverpool and XYZ, bro. Some of these people are venomous in there. I don't even believe that they support Liverpool, and that's my deep chest DMX voice. Man's coming in like they don't support our team. So Slot, he's damned if he does, damned if he do. He can't win. You imagine him. Potentially, he can be trying to sustain his job as being the manager of Liverpool. So if he makes these tweaks, and I do 100% agree with you, Artie, if you don't give some of these players game time in real-time games, how on earth do you know whether they've got the attributes or skill sets to be able to manage it in those pressurized positions, right? But whatever decision he makes, it's going to be so highlighted at the moment because we as a club aren't performing at the levels we want. So whatever decisions he makes, it's going to be scrutinized. I just don't think he can win at the moment.
No.
I do agree with that. But I guess just what I would say is, I do get the whole damned if you do, damned if you don't. But you are damned if you can't run. And these men can't run. These men can't run. Like, we're seeing the players physically not able to run back. Like, and so I'm just like,
not all can't, or not all won't.
They ain't doing it. Like, I can't judge the reasons as to why. If it's fitness, motivation,
Doctor,
left them. I don't know.
I'm gonna put my hands up.
But I just see them.
I've been to the training ground. They have a West Indian chef, and they're on festival Guinness Punch. They're having oxtail in the morning for breakfast instead of the light food.
Man's got the itis.
I think so, man.
We just brought in 2 or 3 under 21 centre backs that are going to be the best international players going, and one of them is taller than Leone and VVD, 6'6" at 17 years old, and already at VVD standards.
Yeah, but so that's what I was saying. That's the Nialo that I was mentioning that came on against Karabakh. I think he came on probably about the 75 minutes. But even then, are we then saying? I mean, we all know that amongst all of the other positions, we are thin bit in the centre back positions, right? So we know we played Gomez. Gomez lasted as long as I would have playing in the Premiership, right? So then what happens? Are we then looking at Endo, who is probably older than Slot, playing that centre back there? Let's be honest. What's the conversation and what's going on here? It's true though, right, Vinny? So
It's true, and sorry, Mark Foster's comment.
Yeah, like what's happening here? I think when does the transfer window close? I have absolutely no idea.
I think
or is it closed already?
Actually, the second,
The second, right?
Yeah.
I think they've got to the second.
Yeah, because
right.
the 31st falls on a weekend, isn't it? Yeah.
Brilliant, right? So we do not have an earmarked centre back or centre back as in plural coming in at this transfer window. In my opinion, we need one. So I hope that whatever's happening with Konate and his family, I hope he's in a good place. I hope he has the support mechanism that he needs to return back to football. But I'm going to be serious. He's still leaving in at the end of the season. So we know things have happened with his father, but brother can still be left. So we're still in a very, very, very vulnerable position. We have one centre back. How does that work? It shouldn't work. In an elite club, that should not be the conversation we are having at this current period of time. It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. But the club wanted to invest 140 million, and isn't it? 140 million.
VW, this is the point, yeah? We need to work out where we're choosing to do our shopping, in it. Because it's almost like no one that I know goes to spend £140 in Waitrose on special chicken and duck, and then trying to haggle the man in Aldi for like £5 on your fruit and veg, innit? Like you can't be haggling Crystal Palace for Mark Gahey and then you're saying boom, like name your price for Isak. It's not making sense. It's not making sense.
So if Klopp was there, them boys would be playing with the injuries that we got. And going back to talking about the young boys, we've either been chasing the win or protecting a slim lead every game. Difficult to blood these types of players in these types of matches. And also, there's Konate, but if and when he comes back, where is Konate's head going to be?
And that's the point that I'm saying.
Very sad times for Konate.
He chooses.
Father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he chooses. He did this person, this player has to be looked after, but let's be clutch. He's got 6 months left on his contract, the same as Gahey. He can choose where he wants to go. Liverpool will be accountable if he stays. If he moves on, Liverpool will still be accountable. And guess what? Even if Konate signs a contract, right? So let's mix it up. He's in a good place with his family, with the bereavement of his father. He signs a contract. We still only got 2 defenders. Gomez is not the answer. Endo is not the answer, right? Robbo, which he's leaving at the end of the season, is not the answer at the left-sided centre-back. We still need to buy 2 centre-backs. Where's the discussion? We are vulnerable.
Yeah. No,
I think they're looking at, I think they've got high hopes for Leone.
Okay, but then we're putting our trust in an 18-year-old as well. And RTI,
that's what I'm saying. They've
I
got
agree
high
with
hopes
you.
for him.
I'm not saying this player doesn't have the skill set, right? But we still need plural 2 centre backs. It's bananas.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of talk of that we're looking at this one, looking at that one. But for me, and I think it's going to happen now, it's going to be in the summer.
Yeah.
What's
And
going to happen?
would you take Trent back?
100. 100.
You would.
100. Bro, do you know what it is, bro? You see me in it. Like,
Too
sometimes,
soon for me.
don't get me wrong. I can lead with emotion and all that, but sometimes I'm just pragmatic in it. Trent in our team fixes our build-up issues. Fixes it overnight. Straight away, we'll start playing much better football. Like, do I want to win? Yes. If Trent's on the market right now, I'll take him.
The only issue I'd have with that, Doctor, right? And I'm probably we're sailing the same boat. You have the left ball, I'll have the right ball. My only issue is if Trent comes back, he is injured.
Good point.
Yeah,
point.
That's
they're saying that right
would be
now.
yeah,
He's had
that
3
would be
serious
my
injuries.
only concern. Is just
Yeah.
whatever's happened to him when he's gone out to Madrid. I'm just thinking of just the clutch. He's currently injured, so that would
Yeah.
be my only
So-
concern. My only concern.
So basically, it's going to be Endo tucking in at right back.
That's what I'm saying.
It might be.
Or
We better drop that. We better drop that defensive line deeper and slotting to say, Gravenberg, you don't move. You don't move. You don't move. And Mo Salah, you better move back in it because we definitely can't carry you defensively right now, mate. So
Against an attacking team like Newcastle, it's going to be peak.
And
And
a
you see how they-
physical team as well.
yeah,
Very
and
physical.
how
Well, they
played
ain't got no
against-
what do you call it? No Joe Linton. He's out injured.
But the way they played against Paris Saint-Germain, they're going to be ready for us, man. And I'm not looking forward to that game. I'm not.
Yeah, this could be really peak for us in looking to qualify for the Champions League. This could get real peak. Oh boy. Let's see. What's Mark Foster
But
saying
on
now?
another note,
Trent has done 4 injuries on the same leg. 1 before he left Liverpool and 3 at Real Madrid.
Wow.
that
I didn't realise
could
that.
almost be potentially to do with the transition of training, what's happening at Real Madrid. We could never ever know what stems that, but in my knowledge, Trent wasn't really injured much for Liverpool. So similar to Doctor, you mentioned it in one of the groups. Frimpong before he signed to Liverpool, there wasn't much injuries, but
None.
he's had a lot of injuries since he's been at Liverpool. So it could be to do with the pace, the physicality, the training, XYZ here, why he's receiving those injuries, and on the reverse side about what's happening to Trent, why he's gone to Madrid. I mean, we're never ever gonna know, man. But yeah, it's just disheartening, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And I don't know how the fans would take it as well.
I'd have him back.
Coming back.
I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon. I don't think he'll ever come back, if truth be known. I think he left on such a. I think he left on such a cloud.
Thinking that Pep would want him,
Wow.
So yeah, let's watch this space. So, gentlemen, let's see how do we see this weekend's game going?
Listen, man, I'm still going to be positive, man. I'm still trying to believe in these players. I'm going to say 2-1.
2-1 to Liverpool, yeah?
Yeah, we're at home, right?
Yeah, we're at home.
So who in their midfield is injured? Is it just Joe Linton?
Just Joe Linton.
No. It's going to be Guimaraes. I think
Guimaraes is back. He was on the bench.
So I think their midfield is going to be Tonali, Jolinton, and Miley.
No, Joe Linton's injured.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Thank God for that, which is terrible to say, but yeah, our team's a bit soft, isn't it? We need to keep it 100.
If Newcastle play, Newcastle play the back 5, and there's no issue with this, by the way, right? So they played the back 5 against PSG, but I still believe they played so good. That was such a lit game to actually watch. And we know historically, Liverpool Newcastle games, whether they played at Anfield or at St James's Park, there's chaos, there's madness, and there's historical moments. So I'm not really looking forward to this game.
We've got to pray that Kanate is back. And sorry to be insensitive, Ibu, but it seems like the only player we've got that wants to win the ball in the air is Van Dijk. The only one. The rest of these bres are just like, go on, Virgil. You do it. You do it. You do it. Hence by the third goal against Bournemouth. It's either him or nothing. Yeah. So if Newcastle are able to occupy Van Dijk with a strong aerial presence and then leave Dan Burn free, forget about it. So
trouble, man.
That's what I'm saying. We need players who want to header the ball.
But we don't have them. You know what? I'm going to say this.
But Stoney, how have we spent £450 million and we don't have players who want to header the ball?
And Doctor, you said I'll say
question,
this,
right?
I'm 5'4", but we got beer Liverpool man at Liverpool.
When was the last time?
If those balls are coming in, we're in trouble.
When was the last time you saw a Liverpool player do a slide tackle? A regular slide tackle.
Bloody hell.
Bro, we're mad Niki. We don't want to challenge for the ball in the air, second balls, slide tackles, tactical fouls to stop man countering. We're like some idiot team, bro. These men are all soft breads.
And I think this is where about who's making the buys, because I think this is more like a Hughes Edwards kind of thing with a strategy in terms of how they want to play. I think there's a lot going on there. I really, really do. I really do.
We have no one making slide tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, you know. Bloody hell. It's not a good look.
Like, that's not on slot.
Vinny, how do you see this Newcastle game going?
In all fairness, gentlemen, I really don't know. I really, really don't know. I'll take a 1-0. I'll take a 1-0 because they're strong. They're strong. They're resolute. They can get a goal. If they get the first goal, forget it. All right, we ain't winning that game if they get the first goal. So yeah, I'll take a 2-1, 2-1. But I think it'll be them getting a second. It'll be them getting maybe going up 2-0 up. Them getting a goal, and us be stressing for the rest of the evening.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, Mr. B. Man gets. You see that? Man gets a 2 win, and now he pops up again. Yeah. Man win a 2 game. You get a Michael Carrick, and now what? You resurface now. You come up for air. Because before we couldn't see you, Black. Huh? Couldn't see you at all.
But you know, son, very quickly on that, right? Well, yeah. This is something I spoke about with some colleagues at work today. There's all this coaching. These players have been coached so much, right? That natural instinct to do something off the cuff or on the spur has been taken out. And the Man United team showed an example of just being instinctive and just doing something spontaneously. Those 2 goals they got were absolutely mad. Mad goals that, just watching them, I was like, do you know what? We don't score goals like that. You don't even see goals like that no more.
We used to.
Everyone's being coached. Yeah.
We used to.
Every club is being overly coached. You don't see that no more. And that's what made it so refreshing to see. You get what I mean? It's like, they're not being overcoached.
Man said when Bradley last played for the slide tackle.
Yeah, Bradley's probably like the only one.
And that's probably when he got injured. This guy.
Bradley's probably like the only one who puts his foot in there a little bit. I'm just like, you can't compete in this Premier League if you don't have that. You cannot.
100. Gentlemen, it's been a blast once again. Do remember, people, tell your friend to tell your friend. It's all about Cop Talk each and every Thursday from the hours of 10 o'clock. We will be back next week discussing, obviously, Liverpool, Newcastle. Hopefully we can get a 3 points there. I tell you. Yeah, and please, man, please do not put Endo at centre back, or else we're done out here. We are done. I think it's best to play Grav back there, and if you are gonna play Endo, you play him on the right, at least. Then he could be up against a Harvey Barnes. Oh my God.
Nah, they'll put Gordon on him.
Yeah. Terrorizing. I tell you. Gentlemen, thank you very much. VW, Dr. Stoney. It's been a blast.
Yes.